Hello viewers and welcome to round 2 of the WNX F1 GP1 League. We're here at Malaysia today, and just before we get into the race and qualifying, just go through a little bit of news. First of all, I just want to thank Crekkan for his onboard video and editing of all of the onboard videos into this extended highlights, which made this possible. Myself for the onboard video and Josh for the onboard video. Thank you guys, much appreciated. Now, news from the FIA this week. They've reminded drivers that retiring whilst on track is against this season's regulations. So drivers are reminded that wherever possible, they should only retire whilst in the pit lane. And this is to add a little bit more realism into the race, but also to prevent ghost AI controlled cars from going onto the racing line and distracting other drivers. Now, after the Australian race, there were a couple of penalties issued in GP1. JBPNE89 picking up 20-second penalty for that race, so it doesn't come into the Malaysia race for not leaving a car's width on a couple of occasions. And he also picked up a reprimand which will stay with him for the rest of the season for his general racecraft. Now, let's have a look at the championship tables after the Australian race. Obviously, our pole and race winner, Crekkan, was a reserve driver, so he's not on the tables at the moment. So he does have 25 points and theoretically is top of the table. And once he gets a drive in GP1, he will appear on these tables. But as of now, we have Cube in first place on 18 points, Andy Coy-B 15 in second, and Travis in third, and the rest of the field lining up behind them. Lotus F1 picking up the points obviously from Pravis and Crekkan's drive in Australia, top the Constructors' Championship. So let's have a little look at Malaysia track now. It's a 15-turn circuit, 2 very long DRS zones. It's a very complicated track to set up for this, a lot of slow mechanical grip corners, but a couple high-speed aero corners and some really long straights. So a few different ways you can go with the setup for this track. Of course, your commentators today are myself, Pravis, and also Shiraz. Welcome, Shiraz.
Hello there, Pravis. I'm really excited for this one. Brilliant circuit, one of my favourites. Round 2 of the GP1 and the WNX F1 League. And Season 2 podium was headed by myself, Shiraz, in close pursuit. I can tell you that was one of the most interesting races I've ever had. I think there was something like 2 tenths between me and Fias Mill, and then Josh in third place. Today we have qualifying with the dry weather and also for the race, so mirroring the weather from Melbourne. We also have medium, hards, inters and wets are the tyre compounds for this track. With only the 1 step between the tyres, we're expecting a 2-stop strategy here today. What do you think, Pravis?
Yeah, I think majority of the grid are going to go for 2-stop. It's difficult. I mean, the tyre wear from some drivers may force them into a 3. I'm looking forward to seeing what people do.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Let's get down to qualifying. Let's see Pravis and Crekkan on the qualifying laps. Here we go. On the home straight here, entering turn 1 soon. 7th gear, DRS open, flying into that first corner. Got to pick your braking point there. Take a nice wide entry and close that corner off there. A little bit of oversteer there from Crekkan there. Correction. He had to make a few corrections on the wheel there. Pravis, a little bit of traffic, but he's kept out of the way quite nicely. And we're coming up to the end of Sector 1 here. Crekkan 24.5. Pravis 24.6, 2 tenths split the two going into the second sector. Can Pravis claw that 2 tenths back? Here we go, accelerating now into this set of sweeping corners. G-force really straining on your neck there, and Pravis puts a wheel on the grass that puts him wide there into the next corner. And we get it all slowed down here for this roller coaster of a section. Straight now, fast into this hairpin corner here. You can really make up a lot of time under braking at this corner. Pravis a little bit wide there, missing his apex. Crekkan as usual, perfect there, as you can see in the sector times. 3 tenths divides 2. Here we go now into this tricky last sector. Crekkan getting a little bit too greedy there on the entry there, had to go wide. Let's see how Pravis attempts this final corners, and we have a joined. Okay, sorry there. Shiraz lost connection there, and he actually joined back. Irrelevant to the actual qualifying session. Now we're DRSing all the way up into the last corner here. Crekkan wide on entry, using all the track available. Squeezes out their last bit of curves there. Run to the line, and that's Crekkan into second place at 34.8, and Pravis on a 35.3. Good qualifying there from the two drivers, and we have Firesmil actually claiming pole. So that was a great result from Firesmil, Pravis.
Yeah, brilliant. Completely unexpected as well, because I thought Crekkan were definitely going to take pole again. And actually, looking at those qualifying laps between myself and Crekkan, in the first two sectors we were very close.
Yeah, very close there between the two previous teammates. Obviously, Crekkan now is driving for Toro Rosso in the second race as a reserve driver. He's trying to cement his seat wherever he can. So here we go into the race now. A lot of drivers on split strategies there. Some are running the options, some running the primes, Pravis.
Yeah. I'm hoping we're going to see some action in this race with the strategies. If people are on 3 and 2, then we're going to get a bit of a mix-up.
Yeah, here we go. Lights out for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Firesmil wheel spinning off the line, but Crekkan actually didn't get any advantage on him. Who's that? We're on board here with Josh running into the first corner. Looks like 3 abreast, all slowing it down, and we jump now to Crekkan, who's gone deep into the first corner, and Josh is in the wars there, oversteer all over the place, and we have contact with Andy there. It's all happening here at the first lap of the Malaysian Grand Prix.
So Pravis has maintained his position, a very clean first lap there.
Yeah, Pravis obviously known for his consistent driving in that brilliant comeback race there in Melbourne, and now we enter this sweeping corners, running the dirty AF cars here will definitely cause understeer for the following pack. You can see that on board with Pravis, and it's getting very close there, just in front of him. If Pravis can just keep it in shape, he might be able to gain a few positions here.
And HB Snipes, obviously, this is his debut race for Season 3. He missed the... Oh, there's some contact there between Finbot and Pravis. Pravis losing out a place there to Jamie Hall.
And Shiraz is all over the back of him. Can he keep him off him? Obviously, Jamie Hall taking out the Bollard there. Very aggressive on turn in. Will he defend against Pravis into this corner? And Pravis goes up into the inside. Can he keep it there? He's been hit, his hand's gone up.
Yeah, a little bit of contact. I think probably Pravis' fault there. He ran out a bit wide and didn't really leave enough room for Jamie, but didn't force him off the track, so it should be okay.
Well, all this battling in the mid-pack, and we have Shiraz lost connection there.
That's such a shame.
Yeah, there's a lot of storms going on, I'm sure you know in the news. So internet connections this race are a bit dodgy, so let's see who can take advantage of that. Crekkan laid on the brakes there, very aggressive, all over HB Snipes. He's going to get the slipstream here.
Yeah, well, I mean, whilst Snipes has got to defend it, well, that was a nice move, a quick dart to the left, but not enough to get into, not enough to get alongside. But yeah, while Snipes has got to defend against Crekkan, it's allowing Fire Samuel to build a really nice gap here out of the DRS, and this should really help him come the first set of pit stops.
Yeah, Firesmil capitalising there on those option tyres. Of course, he's 3 times quicker than Crekkan in qualifying. And that gap is roughly what you'd expect between the two tyres, but he has to make that advantage stick in the race. He's pulling out nicely there. This is good from Firesmil. And we're back on board with Josh. He's caught a right to the back of Crekkan, just showing how much these two are fighting and how much time is costing them.
Yeah, and Josh is just going to sit here and watch this, and the first mistake, I'm pretty sure Josh will be diving up the inside to take advantage of it. And that's what makes him so exciting to watch.
Yeah, Josh, obviously, his temperament in the racing car is a little bit like Lewis Hamilton. Sometimes he blows hot, sometimes he blows cold, but when he's on it, he can be one of the fastest in the league.
So we're coming up to start lap 3 now, a little lock up from Josh. Still battling for second place between these three, and it looks pretty riveting.
Now that's an interesting piece of information there we got from the Toro Rosso pit crew. Crekkan is expected to make a stop on lap 9, and that's Josh locking up straight into the back of him. I think he could have gone past, but he let him maintain the position there. Good sporting driving there from Josh.
Yeah, so he realised it was his mistake and he backed off, I think. And that let Snipes get a little bit in front, but these two have caught him up nice and quick. He's under pressure here, and I wouldn't want to be that Lotus driver today.
Yeah, Crekkan, his team wants him to pit on lap 9. Now, if he's going to make that strategy work, he's really got to pass HB Snipes here, because, as we said, running the dirty air can really kill those front tyres.
And we're looking at around lap 8 to 9 for the drop-off for these prime tyres, I believe, here today as well.
Yeah, so obviously Crekkan going all out in qualifying, so he's really going to have to be economical on these tyres if he can make the strategy work. And that's Josh puts a wheel on the grass, and that just puts you all wide. And now he's lost out there. Lap 3, of course, the DRS is active. Can he get into that 1 second behind Crekkan?
I think Sam Jenks now behind him will be putting Josh under pressure. I think he's seen his chance for a DRS.
And we have Crekkan here using the DRS on HB Snipes. HB Snipes got some really great top line speed there because he's holding him off without the DRS, really. And Josh there having to defend against Sam. Has he got DRS to defend? Yes, he has. And a bit of Kurz there for good measure. Crekkan can't catch up with Snipes. Very interesting there.
And Snipes is known, he's very, very good at defending on track. He knows exactly where to put his car there, and look at that. Oh, very close, but not enough contact to shift him out of the way. Krekkan's got the inside line here, and I wonder if he can make this stick.
Yeah, a little bit
Snipes just will
there
not give
between the
up.
two drivers. HB Snipes has relinquished the place, and now Josh will have another go at him. This, of course, is brilliant for Crekkan because, and someone's trying to go off the inside of Josh there. I think it was Sam Jenks. And now Josh actually going down this is a very hairy move. Oh, and they almost make contact. He's very close here, and Josh, brilliant move there around the outside, and I think he's got the move done.
Absolutely brilliant driving there by Josh. And by both of them, actually, because there could have been some contact in that corner. He did squeeze Crekkan out a little bit there from the apex. Yeah,
the drivers, obviously, with the stewards being quite strict with reprimands, very careful on their overtaking moves. And perfectly executed there. And we're on board with Paris now. In lap 1, that's where he was hit. He was taken up down the inside and only passed by Jamie, which is very lucky because there was a train of cars behind him. He got off quite lightly there.
So it's left him in 7th place where he started, so he's not gained, he's not lost, but he can see the 3 cars battling in front of him, and he'll be itching to get close to that.
Drivers struggling with lockups into that last corner there. I mean, if they're going to make these tyres last, they have to be very wary on the lockups because they can make a big impact. And we have someone in the pits there. I wonder whether that's for tyres or maybe damage. Have we got any reports from the pit lane?
I'm not quite sure who that is in the pits, actually. I wonder, it's lap 6. Could be Fire Samuel. Could be Fire Samuel. I believe it is Fire Samuel, actually. Oh, we've lost HB Snipes. Unlucky. That's such bad news for the Lotus team.
HB Snipes obviously running in 3rd place. He was online for a podium, but now that actually frees up Josh and Crekkan to claim those podium positions. Privis running here through the middle sector. Beautiful sector, is one of my favourite in Formula 1. We've lost connection to Shiraz, another driver who would have been fighting for the top 5 position there. So a lot of opportunity there for drivers to make up some positions.
Yeah, it does. Oh, Fire Samuel's still out in 1st there. I wonder who pit then. Shiraz,
Well, it says Crekkan's got a 27-second gap, so maybe it was Crekkan into the pits. That would have been very early for the prime tyres. No, but you can see from his screen there, I'm being an idiot. Fire Samuel is like half a second in front. So Crekkan going for the move down the inside of Fire Samuel. Will Fire Samuel dive into the pits or will he defend this position?
I think he'll dive into the pits here, and yes, he has indeed. And don't you worry about making those mistakes, Shiraz, because I think it's the timing screens that have messed up and not you.
Sorry there, viewers. And Crekkan gaining from the DRS. We skip now to lap 7. He's going down to lean. His tyres, his front's no grip, and he's diving in 2 laps early. Are his team ready for him? Because I think that was a late call from the Toro Rosso driver.
Yeah, and I think that now puts him into a three-stop strategy. Josh follows in behind him as well, and his tyres don't look too great. So, judging by this, we've got second and third, Crekkan and Josh on a three-stop. I wonder if Fire Samuel might switch up to a two-stop now to gain a little bit of time losing that pit
Slick
stop.
stop there from Crekkan and Josh. Beautiful work there from the teams. Under 3.5 seconds, and Crekkan rejoins the track in 5th position. Now, has he got any track to contend with? He's got relatively clean air, so that should put him well. Same for Josh, going around here. Turn 3, onto the prime tyres. Engineer coming on the radio saying there's only one stop left, so Josh may be still looking for the two-stop strategy.
Very interesting. It's quite early, quite early for a two-stop, but we'll see how that pans out. Crekkan's now got to get back through the traffic as well, and Mr. Tan's in front of him. We know how well Mr. Tan's can defend, so let's see how quickly he can make it past Mr. Tan's.
Mr. Tan's not defending an inch there. It's very uncharacteristic. And that's Crekkan's position now. He just left the door wide open there. Crekkan setting purple sector 1.
Now this should have put Pravis up into the lead, so if he can hold back the leaders, then this might work out very well for him.
Oh, Josh putting a wheel on the curb there, and as you've seen, that locks the outside front tyre, so we've got to be very careful about braking on those curbs into this lovely middle sector, trailing Mr. Tans here, who's being overtaken left, right and centre. Is Josh the next car to overtake Mr. Tans?
Well, we'll definitely see. Sam Jenks has dropped back a little bit from Josh. I wonder if he changed his strategy at the last minute to mimic these guys and to not let them get away. A little bit of contact there between the two McLaren drivers. That's not good for teammates.
Yeah, I'm sure the team principal, Martin Wimpmarsh, will be on the team radio saying, please keep it nice and clean. We don't want any retirements, especially between teammates. And who's that wide? That's Cube. Cube has gone wide, and Crekkan's driven straight round the inside of him. Now, are those two fighting for position, or is that just a pit stop overtake? Although on track, lap 10, I don't think the pit window is open at the moment, so that seemed like an on-track manoeuvre there from Crekkan.
Well, but I think Cube might be out of place here. I think he hasn't pit yet, not that I've seen. And he was running in midfield, so he's definitely got to be out of place. And we're on board with Pravis now, coming on the back straight. He's got Fire Samuel behind him. He needs to keep him behind him as long as possible. His tyre's looking a little bit shot. Oh, he dives into the pits there. That's probably the best move for Pravis.
Yeah, the pit entry here, nice and flowing. You just take a nice wide entry into the last corner, and now it's down to the Lotus lads. How can they do in the pits? Pulling up here, pit limiter on. And we have the perspective camera from the rear left tyre, Jackman, and it goes on 3.2 seconds there. Beautiful stop from the Lotus team as Crekkan sets the fastest lap of the race.
35.4, that's a very fast lap for this stage of the race. And Pravis has been jumped by Sam Jenks. Shouldn't be a problem with his fresher tyres, couple of laps fresher. He should be able to catch this.
Sorry to correct you there, Pravis, but I believe it was a 37.4. 35.4 would have been a stellar lap. Although not to take anything away from that 37.4 lap there from Crekkan.
Thank you for that.
And here we're back on board with Pravis. Now, he's just put on this fresh set of prime tyres. So, was that his second stop there?
I believe that was his first stop.
So he must have gone very long on those first stint. I mean, we obviously saw Crekkan diving in lap 7, so Pravis really making the tyres work for him.
He's got a little bit of defending to do now, JBPNE. These two have got some history from Australia, so hopefully there's no hard feelings and everything's clean on track today.
Yes, obviously JB being cautioned there from last race, 20-second time penalty for not leaving a car's width. Now, JB is actually the one attacking this time, so I wonder how he's going to go about this. Pravis will have to leave him room, but he's going to have to make it as hard as it can, JB, to get on, because Pravis is on the fresh tyre, so he doesn't want to give up this free air.
And he also doesn't want to be fighting for too long. If he is doing a two-stop, He really needs to get into some clean air, and he doesn't want to be defending, because that will ruin the tyres nice and quick.
Now, we're hearing reports that there might be a chance of rain during this race. Have you got any news on that, Travis?
Well, there is a weather front about 3 or 4 miles away, but they're unsure yet as to whether it's going to hit the track. All indications are that this is going to be a dry race until the end. Maybe we'll have a wet podium.
Yeah, we'll have to. Maybe the champagne might not be the only thing spraying after the race. So now we go here into the last corner. Crekkan. Who's that diving into the pits? Was that Fire Samuel?
That's right, yeah, that was Fire Samuel coming into the pits. And Travis manages to get out in front of Fire Samuel yet again. So Travis's strategy is working for him. If he can keep it all together, this might be a podium for him.
Yeah, this is good work here from Travis in the Lotus car. Fire Samuel obviously fighting for the lead, so he doesn't want to be kept up because Crekkan down the road will be putting in some fast times in clean air. Now, the gap there says 25 seconds, but as we know, it's a bit dodgy here on the track. So I think Fire Samuel is quite close up to Travis. Obviously, like we've said before, you don't want to be trailing any cars going into this middle sector. You will just destroy those front tyres. So Travis looking nice and smart here in 4th position. Has Sam Jenks yet to be making a pit stop? Because 3rd position is quite good for Sam up there.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit out of position at the moment. He's not made his 2nd stop. I wonder if he might have switched this up and gone to a 2-stop.
Yeah, so obviously with the tyres being only 1 step here, so we've got medium and hard tyres. Teams are risking it out on the 2-stop. Travis goes very deep into that corner now. Will that cost him track position here, leading up into the final corner? Fire Samuel slipstreaming and DRS, but not to great avail. That Lotus is set up for this long back straight, and here we go into the pit straight. What do you think is going to happen down here?
Well, both of them are side by side. Fire Samuel has DRS. Travis, he must be turning the engine up here, and Travis and Fire Samuel have both jumped Crekkan. Oh no, sorry, that's Fire Samuel in the pits. So into turn 1, they're both side by side, and Fire Samuel's trying to find a way around, but Travis is just putting his car exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, that's it. Travis has just got to keep the inside line. If Fire Samuel wants to overtake, he has to go the long way around. He can't relinquish that inside line. There we see Fire Samuel down the outside, very late on the brakes, locking up. And what a move there from Fire Samuel. Daring stuff.
Absolutely amazing driving there from Fire Samuel. A move around the outside. He does have the fresher tyres, but that was very ambitious, and he pulled it off.
Now, I believe the pit stop window has opened lap 15, so I think that's why we saw a couple of people running into the pits. And here we go, is Josh into the pits, and he's coming in for the option tyres.
Now that's interesting. Josh tried a 2-stop, or was on a 2-stop in Australia, and he was a little bit, he was gutted that he got disqualified because he believed that strategy would win the race. So I'm quite surprised to see Josh switching it up to a 3-stop
Well, we're
in
hearing
this race.
reports from the pit lane saying that McLaren are actually going to try and get Josh onto a 3-stopper, run 1 set of options now, and then come in around lap 22. We should see the McLaren back in for another set of options. Push really hard now. This has got to be qualifying lap after qualifying lap for Josh Higo.
With regards to tyre life, you can attack the car ahead, use your advantage.
And the ever consistent JVPNing here in 7th place and in front of Josh is Cube 2 seconds down the road. Cube having a bit of an anonymous race. We've not really seen much of him this race. Hopefully in the next race that might change.
Yeah, Cube obviously having a great start to his championship run. Obviously with Crekkan being a reserve driver, he didn't get 25 points for the wins. That puts Cube in P1. He's going to be the man everyone's going to be chasing after. And in P5 now, like you said, he's having quite a quiet race by his standards.
We've got a great chance of taking this guy. Come on, we know you can do it.
Josh coming up now, he's in the DRS activation zone, and he's definitely got DRS, just getting a little bit wide there. But as he crosses the line, he activates his DRS, and the straight line speed advantage there is quite clearly visible, and he makes an easy path on Cube to take 5th position.
And as Josh makes that overtake, we have Sam in the pits, as you're saying, out of position in P2 there. Where will this put him back into the pack? Now, Bicemeal and Pravis have gone flying by.
Watch out for traffic as you
Can he
enjoy the
maintain
track.
P3? Because this would be very good here from the Toro Rosso driver. It all depends where Josh is.
Your car's fitted with the option.
Josh is right behind him. And Josh has nice, lovely warm tyres and Crekkan does not. So this could be interesting in the first two sectors, especially sector 2 where tyre heat is crucial to getting those apexes right.
And Josh getting it also down there.
Oh yeah.
So Josh in P4, apparently Sam Jenks is behind, and I'm not sure if that's an error with the timing screens or whether Sam Jenks is actually in front of Josh. We'll find out as soon as we can. Do you have any news about that?
Well, it's Crekkan in front of Josh, he's the Toro Rosso driver, and Sam Jenks is behind. He made his stop a couple of laps ago. He is out of sync with the rest of them, and that's why he was in second place, because these guys had come back into the pits again. And now they've got it all to do again to regain.
And Josh really
real
straining out
positions.
his brand new set of options. Like we said, he's got to make this 3-stop work, so he's got to really put on those laps and going purple. We've got Crekkan here on the back of Pravis. This should make for an easy pass. Pravis going very defensive already. That was his one move. Going back, however, there was no car besides him, so he could retake his driving line. And nice wide entry from the both drivers there. Crekkan obviously getting DRS now. Pravis staying right to the wall. He's going to make it hard for the Toro Rosso driver.
Yeah, I believe he's going to make it as hard as possible for the Toro Rosso driver. Oh, Crekkan tries to go around the outside of Pravis though. Pravis stays resolute, keeping on his line. Switch back. Oh, that was an illegal overtake. He cut too much of the corner
Yeah,
there.
the steward's saying that he gained an unfair advantage from cutting the corner there. I think that was a good move from the stewards, and sportingly, Crekkan hands the place back, and he's going to have to make it past Pravis. Now, I don't think he's going to find an opportunity in this middle sector, because there really isn't any overtaking in these high-speed corners, and he's just going to kill those front tyres. He's got to get past Pravis as fast as possible.
Yeah, and he's on the quicker tyre, so you can see the performance difference here. Pravis staying defensive, Crekkan going around the outside, but oh dear.
Was that a failure of the brakes,
Pravis.
or so I didn't see any smoke there from the lockup. Pravis, I don't know whether the brakes have just failed or something very strange happened there. That was very strange there from the Lotus driver.
Yeah, I think very uncharacteristically. Pravis put under extreme pressure by Crekkan, and I think he just missed his brake.
Now, has that
to be
cost Pravis the podium position? Because
such
that
a
leaves
shame.
Josh in third position now, and we know Josh pushing on that 3-stopper. So Pravis has made his afternoon a lot more difficult with that mistake there.
Yeah, and I think getting onto the gravels probably cost him at least, well, as you can see on the timing screens there, 7 seconds. So that's really put a downer on his 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, so Pravis on the prime tyres now, he's got to eke this out to lap 22, I believe, for which he will be coming into the pits for set of options. And as you can see, he's not liking this set of tyres. He's gone deep again, missing his braking point, and that puts Sam right all over him into this fast middle sector. Sam is all over the back of him. If he can just stick with him now, he might be able to get an opportunity down into this next braking zone. And he's actually gone up the inside.
Oh, wow. That was a move and a half. That's not an overtaking place, Sam Jenks, but Sam made it one, and he's passed. He's
Sam
through.
flying
into
out
four.
there, taking advantage of some of the retirees from this race, including HB Snipes and Shiraz, and he's actually flying up there in 4th position now. What's Pravis going to do? Because he's on the slower tyres, and he's got to pit in the next couple of laps. So he's got to keep up with Sam if he's going to overtake him for P4, and we have Josh into the pits, lap 21, so he's going to have to go that one lap extra on the option tyres, not making the best use of his tyre strategy there.
Well, actually, it's 2 laps extra. I mean, did he pit on lap 16, I think? So he's done 5 laps on those options, and now he's expecting 7 laps in the last stint. That's going to be a push.
He's going to have to be very careful on his tyres, as we can see on board of Crekkan making a little mistake trying to chase Fire Samil. Now, this is the battle for the lead, and I believe both runners are now on the same tyres. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe you're right. Yes. Oh no, looking at Fire Samuel's tyres, I believe he's on the primes.
So Crekkan should have the outright speed on him. Now it's just whether a question of can he get past on track, heading down to this DRS zone. It's going to be tight on the 1 second. I'm not sure if he made it. Let's see. Beautiful hugging the apex there, but actually takes too much entry speed and runs wide. He's going to have to use this DRS zone just to keep up with Fire Samil.
Oh yeah, that's a shame for Crekkan. It's on the faster tyre, he made a mistake, and it just shows. Oh, and another one, he'll lock up into the.
No, I think Crekkan there just locked up, and his only option was to go into the pits. He would have lost too much time trying to get it back on track. And coming in, lap 22. Now he's going to have to make these options, I presume, last 6 laps. So not as much as Josh, but still more than what we predicted before the race.
News from the Toro Rosso pit wall actually regarding the tyre usage for the Toro Rosso car. They believe they could have gone at least 2 or 3 laps longer on the options, so their tyre wear looking very, very good.
Toro Rosso actually doing quite a good job on their tyres, and we see Josh entering just behind Crekkan. He's made all the stops necessary, so now this is fighting for position on track. The question now is, can Crekkan get the undercut on Fire Samil, because he did pit on lap 2, and Fire Samil, whether it was planned or not, Fire Samil stayed out, so he's going to have to cover that and come into the pits this lap.
Yes, definitely. And I believe Fire Samuel will do that. If he doesn't, then he'll have really ruined his chances for a first place position. He may end up on the
it's
back
very
of the
close here between these two contenders battling out first position. Is Josh nice and late on the brakes there, Crekkan squirmy, and now he's setting his purple sectors. So Josh really in tune with these option tyres, but remember, he's got to make them last 7 laps. So if he's going to make this move done, he's got to make it done. He's got to do it in the beginning of his stint. We lose connection to Thinbots. What's going on?
Oh dear. I don't think Thimbot had a very good race. We've not seen much of Thimbot this race. We saw the contact with Travis, but I wonder what how the rest of
now we're only
Thimbot's
down to
race
12 players now in this game around Malaysia, and we've got Josh on the DRS setting purple sectors, and now he's gone fastest into the rev limiter there. And who was that in the pits? Was that Fire Samil?
That indeed was Fire Samuel. So both of these guys have made the undercut work on Fire Samuel. So Fire Samuel is now in 4th. I believe Sam Jenks should be in 1st position because he's a little bit out of step with everybody else.
This really opens up this race now, because we've got three people contending for 1st position, and remember, Fire Samil is on much fresher option tyres. He's only going to make them last 5 laps. People like Josh have already been on them for 3 laps, so this is going to make it really interesting as Crekkan now pulls out a little bit of the lead on Josh.
I'm noticing quite a lot of corner cutting from Josh. He must be getting stressed out in that McLaren, because his lines are a little bit dodgy. He's trying to keep up, and he's getting a bit frustrated.
His tyres nice and warm now. Fire Samil will be all over the back of Crekkan into this DRS straight. Now, what we saw in Melbourne was a very strong DRS. We're seeing the DRS not being as effective in Malaysia. What is your opinion on that, Paris?
Yeah, I think by the looks of it, people are running a lot less aero than they did in Australia, so the straight line speed advantage of the DRS is diminished, definitely. What happened to Fire Samuel there? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong guy.
As Fire Samuel comes down the inside of Josh into this corner, Josh not defending, but he does keep the net inside line for the next corner. A little bit of contact there between the two drivers. Now Josh really has to cover his lines off, because he could have been caught sleepy there into the first corner, and staying to the inside there, forced Fire Samil the hard way around. Now he did make opportunistic overtake around the outside against Pravis, but not against Josh this time.
No, I mean all these three guys are on the same tyres, and Fire Samuel's finding it very difficult to get past Josh. But I believe that he has the speed. Once he's released, he'll pull a gap.
Yeah,
he needs to hurry up and get past,
running away with it. And if he can make this move step down the inside, and you can't see Fire Samuel on screen, so he would have been on the rear of Josh, very close there. And Josh is just missing every apex right now. He's not driving well at all, and this is really costing Fire Samuel. He's got to get past Josh and try and hunt down Crekkan for the win.
Yeah, and Josh is running a little bit wide there. That's let Fire Samuel go up the inside. He'll have DRS, so there's a lot of curves in the bank though for Josh. He has the inside line up to the final corner. Both side by side, how this is going to play out here.
Room there, very good driving there from Fire Samuel. Obviously, we've got the reprimand system, and now Josh has got DRS, and he's just retaking that place. That McLaren Mercedes is just flying out there.
I think this is it for Fire Samuel now. I don't think he's got a chance to catch Crekkan. He's being held up far too long by Josh. And I think this could be second position for him.
As they say, it's never over until the fat lady sings, and Fire Samuel all over the back, Josh. And he almost made a stick around the outside, but Josh having none of that. A little bit of contact there. Right, left, rear. Josh lucky to get away without a puncture there. We've seen how sensitive these Pirelli tyres can be when made contact with. So Josh defending with all his might. So now we go into this fast double right-hander into this braking zone. Is Fire Samuel close enough? No, he's just going to trail him into this corner. But Josh does go wide. He's not getting any of his apexes. Now, will this cost Fire Samuel the win? According to Pravis, it will.
Yes, there's almost, there's 2.5 laps left. The gap between Samuel and Crekkan now is immense, and I don't think he's going to pull that gap back, even if he does get past Josh. He's even dropped back now from Josh, unfortunately.
We just saw
I think he's made a little bit of a mistake.
Information there on Josh's tyres. His front left really taking a bashing. We can see him understeering all over the place, and can he keep second place? That is the question. Now, I know before the race, Pravis took you through some of the penalty system and the penalties issues to JB. Now, I understand he got a 20-second time penalty. However, he got a reprimand as well. Now, can you talk me through the reprimand system?
Yeah, I mean, this season, in Season 3, we have a new reprimand system, and where possible, the stewards will give a reprimand as a first penalty to any,
Sorry to cut you off
incident
there,
that's
but Fire Samuel has just gone right around the outside of Josh. Josh going too deep, missing his apex once again. That front left tyre not holding up. And is it too late for Fire Samuel to mount an attack of P1? He's got clean air now. He's got fresher tyres than Crekkan. It's all to play for the win.
That was an amazing move. That came out of nowhere.
And I think this will be the podium position. So we're going to get a replay here from Crekkan. Or we've cut to him actually, sorry there. It's live images, lap 28 of 28. So we're coming up to the end here. And just before we finish, can you just finish what you were saying about the reprimand system?
Yeah, so the stewards will try and give a reprimand out. First and foremost, if possible. So we've seen a couple of reprimands this season. It's just a tap on the wrist to drivers to say, you know what, just calm it down a little bit, because next time there will be a harsh penalty.
And there we go. These drivers loving their podiums. Crekkan finishing in first position there. Carbon copy of Malaysia. Fire Samuel close on his heels, and second, Josh rounding up the podium positions there. You've got 3 different teams in the top 3 there, so not really one team making their 2 drivers actually work for them.
No, it's a shame that we lost HB Snipes, because I think Lotus could have picked up a few more points, and I think HB Snipes himself would have put would have been on the podium and put. I can't find the word that I'm looking for. 4th position for Sam Jenks and 5th position for Pravis. And that is the Malaysia race. Thank you very much to Shiraz for commentating
Bye-bye.
today for us, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.